Happy Friday folks, and welcome back to another episode of Adam's Eats. How are we doing? Right, today I'm going to make for you a cottage pie. It's a British classic, it's absolutely delicious and it's simple. It's also one of those melancholy beating dishes, you know, if you're feeling a bit low, this is just going to pick you right up and just give you a nice big hug. Now I actually have two cottage pie recipes. I have my lazy version and I also have my not so lazy version. They're both exactly the same. The only difference is my lazy version I use beef mince, good beef mince from the butchers, and then there's my not so lazy version where I use beef shin, and that's the one we're going to do today. Now you might be thinking, oh Adam, why are you using beef shin in a cottage pie? It's supposed to be mince. Actually not technically true. Before kind of mincing machines were invented, which was a way of cutting up spurious cuts of meat and making them edible, this is how people used to do it. It was always whole bits of beef, chopped up really small into pea-sized pieces and then put into the pie. Now the trick as well is using really good quality beef. I got mine from the butchers. It was cheaper and also better quality than you will ever find in a supermarket. The other controversial thing as well, right, stay with me till the end, all right? Because you might be thinking, what's this idiot doing? I'm clicking off. All right, just stick with me. I don't use any tomato-based products in my cottage pie either, so no canned tomatoes, no tomato puree. I don't even add any garlic, no wine. You might be thinking, well, what's in it then? But it's all about the beef. The combination of really good meat and then some good quality stock, that's also important. Now I use Knorr jelly pots because they're absolutely fantastic. No, this isn't a sponsored video, it's just good stock. And that good beef and that stock combined together with all the other ingredients, you don't need anything else in it. It's super savoury, super delicious, and that's what we're going to make today. So again, following that usual drill folks, if you hit that pause button, make a list of those ingredients and we'll get stuck in. Right, let's talk about this beef then. I'm using beef shin. So let's get it out of this packet. Now I've got about 450 grams here. And now as you can see, if I bring it closer to the camera, there's a lot of connective tissue and collagen that runs in the middle of this meat. And what that's gonna do is give us really nice, unctuous, I suppose is the best word to describe it, cottage pie. It's just gonna make it thick and glossy, and it's gonna be absolutely delicious and tender. So that's why we're using beef shin. Okay, now the first thing we want to do before we chop this up into pieces is, you see all this silver skin around the edge? We need to get rid of that because for the short amount of time that we're gonna cook this, that's not gonna tenderize. It's just gonna be stringy and chewy and not very nice at all. So we need to take that off. And all you do is just stick a knife in between the layer of meat and silver skin and just using your knife, just slice it off. Okay, so once you've removed all the silver skin from your beef, now we begin the process of chopping it into small pea-sized chunks. You want them nice and small because obviously it's going to cook fairly quickly, and if you have them too large they're just not going to cook down and go tender. That's the kind of size you're looking for, which is roughly the size of a pea, no bigger than that because as I said it won't cook down quick enough. And then just repeat that with the rest of your beef until you've got a nice pile of finely diced chopped beef shin. Okay, so as you can see I've chopped up my beef nice and fine into pea-sized chunks, so I'm going to pop that to one side. I've cleaned my board down, cleaned my knife, and I'm just going to start prepping my veg. So I've got an onion here. I'm going to slice that, peel it, and then you want a nice fine dice on this onion because you don't want it too big because it won't cook down in time. Get that into a bowl. Now the same with your carrots, and also depending on how ropey your carrots are will depend on if you need to peel them or not. If they're kind of new and freshish then you probably won't need to. These are a couple of days old and they're just a little bit ropey on the skin, so I'm going to peel these, top and tail them, get the rubbish in the bin, cut in half, straight down the middle, cut into battens, and then cut those battens into nice fine dices. Again, get that into a bowl. Then again with your celery, if it's looking a bit ropey and the skin seems a bit stringy, just peel off the outside, then split it into 3 equal lengths, and again a nice fine dice. Get that into your bowl as well, and that's all the prep done for our pie filling. So now we're ready to cook. Okay, so get your pan on the heat and then add the flour to your beef, a little bit of pepper, about 6 or 8 turns. We're not adding any salt because there's going to be salt in that stock, so we'll season that at the end. Mix it through till all that beef is coated in that seasoned flour. Add a little oil to your pan. At this point as well you want to preheat your oven to gas mark 3, which is around 165 degrees centigrade or 325 Fahrenheit. So once your pan is nice and hot and on a medium heat, you just want to start adding your beef. I suggest you do this in batches because if you overcrowd the pan, You're going to stew it rather than brown it. So just stir that around. Okay, and what you're looking for is a nice golden brown colour. It should take a few minutes before we add the next batch. Okay, so I've just finished browning off my second batch of beef. That's the colour you're looking for. That is just going to give you so much flavour and colour to your dish. Quite often people don't brown meat enough whenever they make a pie or a stew, but that's what you're looking for. And I'm just going to add this to a casserole dish that I've got off camera. Get your pan back on the heat and then turn it down to nice and low. I've just added a tiny bit of oil, not too much because you don't want it to be greasy. Then add in your carrots, onion and celery, your thyme. Mix that all together. Oh my god, it smells amazing already. And then just cook that down for about 5 minutes until the onions have gone slightly soft, and then we'll add that to the rest of the mix. Okay, so once your vegetables have softened slightly, we're going to add that to our dish as well. And get your pan back on the heat, and then add just about half of your stock, say. This is just to pick up any leftover bits of flavour that might have got stuck to your pan. Just mix that through, then add that to your dish as well. And then to your dish you want to add your bay leaves, your Worcester sauce, and then some more stock. You want around about 500 to 600 ml of stock. You just want enough so it's just barely covered. Give it a good old mix. And that needs to go into the oven for about 1.5 to 2 hours till it's nice and thick and glossy. Check it about halfway through, just give it a good old stir and see how it's getting on. But I reckon about 2 hours will be there. Okay, so it's been in the oven now for almost 2 hours. I think it's ready. Yes, that's what you're looking for. It should be nice and thick and glossy. Not too wet, not too dry, because you do want a bit of gravy in it. And at this point you want to fish out the bay leaves, then add in your frozen peas. I never used to add peas, but actually I've since found that they do add a little bit of sweetness. And then you want to transfer your pie mixture into your pie dish. Now that mixture needs to cool completely. Don't put your mash on top now because it's just going to sink into the pie and it's just going to be ruined. So it needs to cool down completely. So I'm going to pop it to one side, let it chill down, and whilst that's doing that, we'll get on and we'll make our mash topping. Okay, right, let's get on with the mash. Now I'm using a potato variety today called Picasso, which I found down at the market. I did use some for some chips last night and they were absolutely delicious. Really nice, really crisp, fluffy inside, but apparently they make good mashed potatoes as well. But if you can't get hold of Picasso, then that's fine. Just use Maris Piper, King Edward's also nice, or any other good mashing potato. So you want to get them peeled and then you want to chop them into equal sized chunks and then pop into a pan of water, add a good pinch of salt, and then bring those potatoes to a boil, turn it down to a simmer, and then cook them for about 15-20 minutes until they're nice and tender. Okay, so these potatoes have been simmering now for about 15-20 minutes. Just take one out and then just test with the point of the knife. If it goes in, they're ready. And now we need to get these drained. Okay, so now we're ready to make our mash. Now I'm using one of these, which is a potato ricer. It just makes life much easier and you get super smooth mashed potato. I'll put a link in the description if you want one for yourself, but you can just use a masher if you want. And all you do is you just load your potatoes in the ricer and then squash it through and you get potato rice, I suppose. So just repeat that with the rest of your potatoes and then we'll add our butter. And once your potatoes have been riced or mashed, you want to add in your butter. Work that in. I know this looks like quite a lot of mashed potato. It's better to have a bit more than not enough. I've been caught out a few times where I've not had enough and I end up with like little bare patches on the top of my cottage pie. Not good. Add some white pepper, again mix that through, give it a little taste. That could do with a bit of salt. And now we're ready to assemble the cottage pie. Now at this point as well, you want to get your oven preheated to gas mark 5 so it's nice and hot, ready for the pie to go in. Okay, so let's get our pie filling out of the fridge. Take our mash in nice dollops, just kind of scattered around at first, and then taking a palette knife or a knife, it doesn't really matter, you just want to smooth out until there's complete coverage on your cottage pie. Okay, and then finally you just want to use a fork and just rough it up on the top. Looks a mess, I know. You can spend time and make fancy little patterns, but I'm hungry. Okay, so you want to get your pie in the oven on gas mark 5 for about 30 minutes until it's nice and bubbly and golden brown on top. Right, okay, so this puppy has had about half an hour. Let's get out and have a look. Ooh, hey, we've had a little bit of a leakage here, so Some gravy has splooged out the top, but well, that's no big deal. Right, let's serve some of this up and have a taste. Right, let's get a nice big portion of this pie. Yes! Hey, doesn't that look good? Right then, cottage pie, let's tuck in. Speechless. That's probably the savouriest thing I've ever eaten. It's worth using that beef shin. Don't know why I'm doing that. It goes so soft and tender. It's got a silkiness to it. And that's the collagen in the beef shin that's kind of rendered down, melted through the dish and just made it really nice and silky. And that mash is so crisp, so buttery. But this is an absolute winner, folks. You've got to make it. Well, there we have it, folks. Cottage pie. What do you think? Easy enough, isn't it really? Very few ingredients and you know, it's absolutely delicious, really comforting. Now to all you chefs out there as well that just think, oh, I'm gonna muck around with it and add this, that and the other and put in 1,000 ingredients, stop it. Leave it alone, all right? It's perfect as it is. Doesn't need lots of fancy stuff in it. All it boils down to is good beef, a little bit of time, a few simple techniques, and you'll have a perfect cottage pie. Well, that's it for today, guys. Again, thanks for tuning in and watching. Leave a comment below, let me know what you think of the recipe. Stick around at the end as well, because there'll be a couple of links to some other videos, and also that all-important subscribe button. If you enjoy my videos, then please hit the subscribe button, because that does help me out a lot. And I'll see you guys next time for more tasty fun and frolics. Thanks again for watching, and bye for now.